Hello guys, this is a reaction to NMIXX Heavy Serenade title track of the same name extended play, the newest extended play of NMIXX. Guys, I'm so excited. Last time we were checking Crescendo, and despite I did two listenings during that one reaction, I was still confused because like it was a very interesting musical experience, and I have to say like it was musical art. So I am very curious about this one.
어린 마음속 헤매던 cosmos 터진 눈물 잃어버린 color But I'm with you every day and night 모든 별을 안고서 keep dreaming 날 깨뜨려서 만들래 단 하나뿐인 bookend 사탕으로 모았대 하수 아래서 take my hands 시들지 않은 꿈에 널 데려가고 있잖아 지나 겨울 와도 다시 피어나 거진 심장 소리 들어봐 영원히 기억될 이 순간 가사가 된 꽃잎들을 봐 이미 넌 불러본 멜로디 I love it right I love it right I don't doubt it Be my life Be my life Now pull up, I can't breathe. I'm ready, ready to make it. 나의 숨결에 덮여. 안녕한 말들이 넘쳐. 너는 몰아가 나를 웃게 하는 춤이 round and round. 서로 가득 채울 품은지 어디까지 남기고 싶지 않은 공고는 zoom, zoom, zoom. All just you. 지구를 벗어나도 다시 피어나. 거진 심장 소리 들어봐 영원히 기억될 이 순간 가사가 된 꽃잎들을 봐 이미 넌 불러본 멜로디 I love it right I love it right I don't doubt it Be my life Be my life Now
Jesus. One short pause, guys. Damn. This is very interesting because like we despite like Blue Valentine had a different feeling as Heavy Serenade, a little bit different feeling in sort of way we reached a different era in comparing with Know About Me and the previous track See That, and Dash, etc. The previous releases, Know About Me, See That, were very like, in aspects of MV, were very experimental, science fiction orientated. And Blue Valentine has a little bit still like sort of aspects of science fiction and like the space traveling in space and universe. There were like several aspects, but we reached a little bit different era, and now Heavy Serenade, that pure MV, that wall MV, like not wall, we are like reaching 2 minutes for 14 seconds. We haven't any of those aspects which were in the previous releases. In Know About Me, there were like sort of like ship which was traveling from this submarine, right? Submarine which was capable of flying through the from the ocean to the skies and to the universe, to the space, right? And See That was also like very strange. There were like some paranormal effects and like paranormal activities, right? This one is just very settled down. I mean, from the aspect of Emmy, and from the musical side, I will say it like after that war song, but one name is popping in my mind, and or like jumping in my mind, and it has that connection to this sound which I'm like now hearing, the emotions which I'm like feeling from that music, and I will say it after the whole track. Wow. The most, well, the melody and beautiful, the most settled down song from NMIXX. Not from music aspect, but within that NMI, within that those effects, etc. Because, like, you know, we received things like Dice, right? Like Young Dumb Stupid, and you know, similar others. And this is probably the most settled down NMI. But that sound, I will say it right now, it's like Red Velvet. And with all due respect, because I am like a huge fan of Red Velvet, I'm instantly like thinking about their music. Their last release, Cosmic, and B-side Sunflower, for example. Underwater, from the Chill Kill discography. Guys, this is beautiful. I love it. I really like it. This is like instantly love. It's very different thing than a crescendo, because like crescendo, despite like, you know, I listened 3 times, 4 times, I was still like thinking, do I like it, or like I'm confused? I don't know. But this is like instant love for me, which I'm like, you know, feeling from this sound, from that music. But despite that, this is like very settled down song. You know, or when we like comparing other and mixed tracks, it has that crazy mix pop aspects. For example, choreo. Choreo looked amazing. I think, for example, this one during choruses we saw some packs from choreo. Yeah, right now, like, you know, looking at those hands behind the backs, so it looks great. Also, like they were like very energetic, and then they slowed that motions. It was pretty cool. It was even this in the last chorus, right, with Haven in the center. It looked pretty awesome. Combined with that sound, really great. I'll try to catch that moment. Right now, beautiful. And that music, because like this chorus has 2 sides, sort of like that first one, LOVE, right, which is absolutely love to me. Like I'm in love with that chorus. I love it, and it's that, you know, less crazy one than this one. This one is sort of like switched in that chorus, but it's not like, you know, that so sort of like, you know, strong switch as it was in the previous tracks. For example, in Blue Valentine there was like, you know, that sequence which was the pre-chorus, and there was like, you know, that hasted movements, hasted sound. Also, like OO has sort of like, you know, 2 songs within one, right? Dash had crazy switches, and this one is very soft, this is, as I said before, this is probably the most settled one song from NMIXX. I'm curious about the rest of the discography because Crescendo was quite the opposite. So I like it. I like how they selected releases from this discography, which will be receiving some envy because like Crescendo and Heavy Serenade is like yin and yang, right? Two sides of one symbol. And as I said before, I'm feeling very strong vibe of Red Velvet, which is absolutely very very pleasing thing to me. This is, yeah, I said it before, obviously like not in reaction, sometimes maybe even in reactions, but like NMIXX have sort of like feeling as Red Velvet of JYP, right? And this is a big plus for me because like I'm, as I said before, a huge fan of Red Velvet, huge fan of NMIXX, so this is a great thing. Also, if you are familiar with Purple Kiss, their last goodbye discography Doremi, title track Doremi sounds also like similar as this one. It has that feeling, also like that summer feeling, and Mix recently really switched into summer mood, right? Blue Valentine was sort of like and Reality Hurts and Adore You and all of the tracks which received MVs or like videos, I believe also Shape of Shape of Love. No. Just Adore You, Reality Hurts, and obviously Spinning on It, right? So those tracks had a summer mood. Now we have Crescendo. Now we have Heavy Serenade. Guys, I'm in love with this one. It reminds me also like sort of era of Party O'Clock and Roller Coaster. And I know like there were some maybe I know them like opinions that this isn't like their best era, and obviously Love Me Like This was that huge shift, right? There was like which was probably controversial debut for someone's. For me it was an absolutely stunning debut. Dice was awesome, crazy, right? And then Young Damn Stupid, obviously, that was like sort of like sideaway track, and then Roller Coaster and Party O'Clock, and maybe it was for someone less favorite era, but for me, I love it. I love those vibes, and I think like it's very fitting to NMIXX. So Heavy Serenade, great track to me.